Real Estate, Luxury Business Investment, Jefe de Ventas, ASTON Martin Residence, María Eugenia Alvarez, Vicepresidente de Desarrollo de Ventas, SOTHEBY, Harvey Daniels, Fundador y CEO Luxury Homes Connect, Paola, Marulanda, Modera, Haut Residences.
Casas Montreal, la empresa de steel framing más grande del país, te permite hacer realidad tu sueño. Tu casa con corazón de acero y paredes de ladrillos, únicas con certificación ISO 9001, en cuota fija 100 pesos, aptas para créditos hipotecarios y también para nuevos planes por crear. Con Casas Montreal, vos podés.
I'm April Irene Donaldson on behalf of Haut Living and Haut Residence. We're really thrilled to have this outstanding panel here today. Harvey Daniels discussing downtown. Paola, thrilled to have you as well to really talk about Miami as a whole. Maria speaking on downtown and Aston Martin Residences. I think we're going to have a very good discussion with a great cross-section of luxury real estate and luxury living as a whole here in Miami. So thank you all for being here.
Thank you, April.
Thank you.
Harvey, let's go ahead and begin with you.
Okay.
Talking about a global audience, the attraction, the draw here to Miami. What is the biggest selling point for Miami as a whole right now in this current market and climate?
Wow, I wouldn't know where to begin to answer that because there are so many reasons why. Look, I think it's a combination. From my perspective, it's a combination, and I represent really the top of the market. I represent, the $5 million and up market in really in downtown Miami. I can tell you there are multiple draws. First of all, you have a lot of people who are coming to South Florida, obviously from the Upper East Coast. There are a lot of people coming from New York for tax purposes. I mean, you're really seeing a tremendous amount of people who are really leaving those northern areas in the States to come down to Miami. Additionally, Miami's really having, I would say, a renaissance, really. I mean, there's so many incredible things happening, particularly in downtown. And when you really look at the future of Miami, and I've been selling development real estate for 25 years, even though I'm aging myself by saying that, I'm just going to say it anyways. But, downtown is really the future of the city and what's happening. You have downtown is all of the best restaurants, all of the best shopping, all of the, anything that's coming new, that's exciting to Miami, you're going to see downtown. So downtown is really attracting buyers from all over. I think it's also a matter of price point. I think it's very well priced. I think because downtown Miami in particular is an area that is really, I think, in its infancy stage about what is happening in the area in terms of future hotels and developments and things happening in terms of what's going to be built and appreciation wise with property. I think a lot of people are think it's a very intelligent buy. We're seeing some of the top sports figures in the world. I sold to David Beckham in my building. I sold him the penthouse. David could have bought anywhere in Miami. He chose my building. But look, there's multiple layers to all this, but there are so many things happening in Miami. And I think, it's really just the beginning, April.
Thank you so much, sure. Harvey. Maria, over to you.
Oh, about the same question about Miami?
Yeah, I'd like to hear each one of your takes on it. Three tremendous leaders for the Miami market here with us.
Well, I agree with what Harvey was saying, that we have so many reasons of why Miami, to answer that question. We can say tax purposes, the climate, people, even with the pandemic was different in Miami than in any other place to be around. You can enjoy the water, you can enjoy the view, the weather. And particularly in downtown Miami over the years, and with ASTON Martin Residences, where we are located, you go walking distance to the best restaurants, to the best theaters, you have a marina right at the doorsteps of your home. So all these reasons all these reasons are why people choose Miami as their first or second home. And especially in with these what's happening around the world. So many with this, and particularly in downtown Miami because of the location. Everything is near walking distance. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Maria. Paula, over to you.
Hi guys. So yeah, to touch up on what everybody's saying. There's why Miami and why now. Are you interested in me touching on also why now, or just why?
Why Miami and why now? Let's hear it from your perspective.
Cool. So what's really interesting is that since 2018, when tax reform happened, people already started having huge incentives to start moving to South Florida and moving to Miami. It's always been huge on the map. So a lot of families were already had their eyes on this, were preparing to come down here. Normally we're used to a very Latin American market. At the same time, all of our Latin American countries go into kind of political crises. And we think we're about to see kind of a standstill with the Latin Americans, and then the tax thing happens and we start having this influx of American buyers, which we were not really used to seeing. And it's been phenomenal. It's also really great to do business with Americans. It's very different, where it's very different than doing international business. And what ends up happening is when the pandemic hits, all these families, especially the ultra high net worth and high net worth individuals, they're come flooding very quickly because they already were prepared. We're already preparing. They already had their eyes on this. We've been showing properties to Americans for the past 2 years, like that they're thinking of making the move, preparing on making the move. And now they're like, oh my God, get us out of here. We're ready for the sun. We're ready for the tax relief. We've already been, in the transition of ending, our businesses there and bringing them here. And boom, it was like the flooding gates opened, and then initially, I think when the pandemic hit, there was a concern about vertical space versus horizontal space. We've seen that the single family home market has been insane. And I think we all were a little bit scared of what might happen with the condominiums. Sorry. But then what we are now seeing is as people realize that the pandemic is here to stay and everybody's ready, the pandemic is not going anywhere, whether you're here in the high tax states. They're now like accepting, the value of the vertical space, the safety of the communities. There's also people that are from these states are used to living in high density areas and are not used to, having their families be alone in single family homes. So now the condo market is totally picking up again, and it's been amazing to see. So the reasons for why Miami and why now are just like Harvey said, they're so abundant. You don't even know where to begin. It's almost like I just can't think of anywhere else people want to be. Even people from California are coming here. It's amazing.
Very well said. Let's go through financing right now and, the strength of the dollar and what you guys are seeing in terms of with the influx of buyers into our market and options that they have, beginning with you, Maria.
Okay, so, and especially with our building, what we're offering right now is something it's totally new with financing. Usually in pre-developments, the payment structure has always been 20, 10, 10, 10, then 50%, or a little bit flexible, but that's mostly what's been in the market. But with Aston Martin right now, Residences being at 30th floor, and we're 2 years for closing, we have been able to join with a lender that they're offering financing for units when you buy at our property. So you put down 15% and then you're able to pay monthly installments for 22 years. So again, as I said before, this is something totally revolutionary in the market at this moment. And it also can be done because of how the market is financially in the entire world with low interest rates. So this is something that we're starting to announce right now, and we're very excited. I think it's gonna give a huge impact in the market.
Thank you very much, Maria. Harvey, over to you with 1,000 museum and beyond for buying here in South Florida.
Well, I guess the question was about, financing and et cetera. Well, I have a very easy answer to that. We deal in cash. All of our deals are cash. They're fast closings. Everything's cash. It's nice to operate in that market. We've at times what we're seeing is a lot of people are coming in and look, everybody wants to make the best deal. When you make a best deal, you want to close fast, come up with cash, and get yourself the best price. That's negotiating power for a buyer. And that's appealing to a developer to have a cash deal that's going to close quick. So those are the deals that I do. And that's what I like to kind of focus on. And that's what our developer likes. That's probably 99% of the deals that we close are all cash within a week to 2 weeks of closing. I'm doing one right now. This week, we're working on one that's supposed to close, I guess, Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So, everything's just very quickly. But I think what a lot of buyers are doing in this market, I know, the interest rates, et cetera, everything's really low. And again, even though it's not really, I don't operate like that. We only, like I said, we just deal with cash. But I know a lot of people are buying and then refining after and figuring out their situation. But when a buyer wants to come in to make the right deal and the best deal for them with the developer, they put up their cash and they close pretty quick because that gets the buyer the best deal. That's kind of what I can comment on financing. But, we have a lot of people that we work with who we refer to buyers when they're coming in if they want to talk to someone about what are my options afterwards. And look, there's lots of options and I'll leave that to the guys that do finance. And I tend to stay in my lane on those type of questions.
Thank you, Harvey.
Sure.
Thank you very much. Paola, over to you.
Yeah, so definitely. So actually, I love what each of them said because they have such different, such different lanes, and that's a beautiful thing. Because what I was going to say is exactly that we have come full circle. All the rules have been wiped off the table. There are creative financial solutions for everything, everybody. I think I hate to keep referencing the pandemic, but it's the truth. It's our reality, and it's a huge factor that's really recreating so many rules. The ultra high net worth and the luxury market, like what we handle, cash is more king than ever. I mean, than ever. Like, you want to see some insane deals happening, they're happening with cash. And now as people get more and more comfortable with the reality that this pandemic is here to stay, now it's not even bargaining power. It's either you come in with cash and close the deal at the price, or you lose out because there's a line of people out here for these products. So, there's still some negotiating power, but cash is just more king than ever. And if you still want to go the financial solutions route, I mean, I've just never seen so many people committed to making the deal happen. So the deals are happening, and people are here working, doing 90 days to close, doing crazy, going to crazy lengths to provide all kinds of creative financial solutions. We're seeing, all the time new ways that people are structuring deals. I'm more full circle in this. I mean, I think it's awesome. I would love to have a one lane product like Harvey, and not have to. But I actually have to entertain all kinds of, what in another time I would say are crazy deals. That, I mean, can I call them crazy if they're happening left and right? I'm structuring all kinds of really complicated offers and really bizarre ideas that people in the finance world are. I thought, a buyer comes at me, proposes this, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And then, but I talk to people in finance, and as I start talking to different groups of people, at least let's say I talk to five people in finance. At least 2 or 3 of them say, sign me up, let's do this, let's make it work. And we start working on it, and it happens. I just closed in the Venetian Islands on a single family home, a 90-day closing with a really interesting financial structure. And it was, we just closed this week, and we did it, and it was crazy. And everybody was like, I can't believe we pulled this off. But we did. And I'm sure Maru is probably seeing also some creative things going on over there.
With all of this being said and all of these great answers here, Paola, if you can expand on that a little more now, do you think cash is king more than ever?
Cash is king more than ever because ain't nobody want to deal with this craziness Literally, like everybody in the transaction.
It's going back over to Harvey's answers, right? So
even if you have, I have some buyers who unfortunately are not realistic about what it entails to finalize these complicated financial structures and how risky the deal becomes every step of the way, and how many different points the deal can fall apart because of all these structures. So even if you're bidding like a much higher price and then you have a cash deal, you might even go take the discount with the cash, which which in another time, no one cares. Everyone's like, yeah, the banks are good. Everyone's good. Let's do the higher price. I don't mind waiting. But right now it's like, it's not just waiting. It's like that things are changing so aggressively every moment that everyone's like, yeah, I don't want to wait. I just want the money now more than ever. I mean, by far, like, the Harvey structured an incredible deal with the Beckhams. Like, they got a fantastic opportunity, and
we really have a tremendous group here today. And again, thank you on behalf of the BNI Forum. And the bios are on hand, but I would just like to actually go through and really read off every person's bio, because it's tremendous, just so we have that captured here. Harvey, we're going to begin with you. Harvey Daniels, Vice President of Development Sales. Harvey leads the luxury division at One Sotheby's International Realty. In this role, he works closely with One Sotheby's developers' clients from concept to launch to sellout. With more than 23 years of experience, he has successfully expanded the reach of One Sotheby's in the Miami market and has worked with prominent developers, bringing them to the market. His negotiating skills, diplomacy, and tact are prime components of his sales expertise and success. His personal presentations are powerful and effective, radiating his knowledge, which we've seen here today, experience and comprehension of the ultra luxury real estate market. So Harvey, again, so glad to have you here, and just making sure we have this on camera, as we really have a tremendous group.
Thank you.
And thank you for all the great work at 1000 Museum and beyond.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Paola, we're going to go over to you, just so everyone has a firm grasp of who we have on here. Paola, throughout her successful career, South Florida real estate expert Paola Marulanda has amassed an extensive knowledge of the Key Biscayne, Venetian Islands, Coral Gables, and surrounding markets, achieving and surpassing the goals of her local, national, and international clientele. Since 2008, as Luxury Home Connect's founder and CEO, Marulanda has had an unstoppable force here in South Florida real estate. Using her knowledge of the industry, passion for real estate, and commitment to outstanding service, she has successfully brokered real estate transactions for a wide array of prominent clientele. An industry leader and expert for the city known as the Magic City and the capital of Latin America, Paola is pleased to present the most impressive properties in Miami and South Florida luxury real estate. Paola's accomplishments in the real estate industry, with local and international recognition as a blue chip realtor since the age of 18, continue to distinguish her as one of Miami's top realtors. She is committed to offering first-class service to her clients and is highly involved with the industry on local and statewide levels. Paola leverages her perfect Spanish and multicultural background, along with priceless worldwide and local connections, to operate as a relocation and referral expert, serving families across the Americas, Europe, and the Middle East. So Paola, thank you so much for being here and for your insight, and looking forward to hearing more.
Pleasure. Thank you, April.
Thank you. Maria, last but not least, Maria Eugenia Alvarez is originally from Argentina, having spent half of her life in the United States, where she graduated from a Bachelor of Arts degree. She moved to Miami and immediately started working in real estate, one of her passions. In her role as a co-partner of a Miami real estate firm, Maria works helping individual clients as well as institutional investors to acquire, sell, and lease properties in the commercial and residential spaces. Throughout the years, she has amassed a wide array of clientele. Maria is passionate about keeping her clients' best interest at heart, focusing more on achieving long-term goals than on closing a specific transaction. In her current role at G&G Business Developments, Maria is responsible for overseeing the sales operation of new real estate developments with a specific focus on the Aston Martin residences right here in Miami, the Magic City. So again, just really a tremendous panel and great insight. So moving on past the draw here to Miami, the financing options, let's talk about specific areas. Moving out of 2020 into 2021 with this panel, tremendous leaders here in the Magic City. What's the next emerging area, beginning with you, Harvey?
Ooh. Wow. Well, it's interesting. There's from the development perspective, which is I represent developers and I've been selling development real estate for a long time. So when you look at from a development perspective about what's happening, I think you're really seeing a lot of shifts up north in Florida. I mean, South Florida is incredible all over. But what I'm seeing from a development perspective is a lot of developments are now starting to move up north. I mean, you're seeing some interesting things happen in Broward and Fort Lauderdale. You're seeing some interesting things. West Palm Beach is unbelievable what's happening up there. So I think there's a real trend towards what's going on up north. Not that Miami isn't at its apex. It's Miami's always going to be at the top. Miami's always going to be the best. It is what it is. Goes without saying. But in terms of areas that were sort of lagging behind Miami, if you will, there's areas, as I said, up north that are really starting to happen. You're seeing pockets in Delray Beach. You're seeing pockets in just Boca, for example. There's a lot of really cool brands are coming and doing developments. A lot of world-class architects you're seeing are now exploring up the coast a little bit. So I really think that there's a lot of very exciting things happening, and I think it's expanding, which is really great for the market because it's just going to extend more business and more business and more people coming into Florida. So look, I think we're in a really good place in South Florida. I think Miami's the best, but again, I think as you look up north, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be emerging, happening, and leaving room for growth and expansion and appreciation for buyers.
Thank you, Harvey. Along those lines, Maria, over to you. Harvey saying Miami is always going to be at the top. Downtown Miami, why is that always going to hold and be such a strong point in the Miami market as a whole?
Well, when you look at downtown Miami, it's like you compare it to other cities where you have the river and the city in the middle. Like that happens in Paris, that happens in London, that happens. So Miami, what happens? It's not only the river; it's the ocean. So you have downtown Miami, all the activity, and combine that with that, the opportunity to be able to go walking distance to the major restaurants, the best theaters, and the most international banks are there. Everything is nearby. So people from all over, when they come from Europe, they can experience the same thing that they live when they, for example, our buyers from London, that's one of the things they like. Our buyers from Europe, because they're used to that, having the city in middle of having a building in middle of the city, and also having the opportunity of being able to go out on their yacht and enjoy the water, or the water sports, go to the beach. And again, one of the things that I was thinking about before with your questions about why Miami, and I think it's important and we didn't mention, is the airport. We're just 15 minutes away from the international airport. It's one of the busiest airports in the United States and even in the world. And we're in the middle. For people from Latin America, it's just like a nightly flight. You get on the plane, you sleep, and when you wake up, you're in Miami. And from Europe, it's the same thing. Major cities, it's a nonstop flight. And downtown Miami is just a 15-minute ride from the airport. So it's the opportunity of being in the middle of everything, and being able to enjoy the water and the views.
Thank you, Maria. Paola, over to you. Speaking of the single family specifically, why is that going to continue to be a stronghold here in Miami and attractive to a global audience?
Can you ask the question again?
Sure. Speaking on single family homes here in Miami, so across Miami-Dade, Miami proper specifically, Why do you see that as continuing to be a stronghold amongst a global audience?
Oh my God. Well, aside from the new really huge value of appreciation on horizontal space and that yard and that freedom, there's so much new construction happening, and it's just beginning. Like Miami is still, it's funny because when you say emerging markets and stuff, we think, like in Harvey's perspective, how Miami's already peaking and always will continue to peak. When I look out and I see all that's going on, all I see is how many more new houses there are to build, how many houses there are to tear down. Really, we had this huge boom in the 80s and in the 90s, and all those houses that people have been sitting on for 30, 40 years, they're just not going to cut it anymore. And now everything is just, these new houses are selling like wildfire. Like it's incredible that like the $10 million up market is selling way more than the $1 to $3 million range. And what's going to keep, and the reason why is because we haven't, the capital was there to build these super homes. Now there's going to be a focus on building all these new 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the ranges. We have so much room for new construction, and that's what people are buying like crazy. So, our markets like Key Biscayne, Coral Gables, Miami Beach, the single family home market is just, it's nonstop. Like we've never seen anything like it in our whole history. It's crazy. There was a few years ago, that market, the ultra luxury single family home market, was maybe seeing 3 to 5 of these homes being sold a year at most. Now you're seeing this volume of home being sold monthly. So, and it's everything shows, like when you see all the houses that are so much older already, it's just a matter of time before they're torn down and new ones are coming. You go to all the nicest neighborhoods, you're going to see a lot of really old houses, and people are coming, and they're coming to buy these houses, tear them down, build new ones. This is time. They're reaching their 30, 40 year mark.
Thank you, Paula. Harvey, back over to you. Looking ahead, going through 2020, entering into 2021, in terms of pricing structure here across Miami, specifically downtown, and also the influx of buyers. Where do you see that pricing structure headed and the influx of buyers coming from?
Interesting. Well, two-part question. So let me address the buyers first. It's interesting because, and I'll go back to Paola and Maria had made similar comments, but what we're seeing now, particularly in my market downtown, which is 5 million and up, my market, what you're seeing is 90, I would say it's 90% right now, 90%. East Coast USA, and that's who's buying, that's who's coming in. It's a domestic market versus maybe, a year, 2 years ago where we had, I had my staff, we were flying down to Mexico City doing events, and we had a huge Brazil, component that was buying, Venezuelan component that was buying. Those have really slowed down. It's now domestic money that's coming in. I attribute that to a lot of the tax benefits and people, leaving the northern areas to escape that. We have a lot of clients that are doing that. So I think that's at this point in the market, April, I think that's kind of common knowledge at this point.
Yeah.
But back to the question about pricing. I think it's interesting. Pricing, it's tricky because pricing, and I'll talk about the luxury market. Pricing right now, there are those people that think, oh, it's high, and there's those people that think it's not high. But the reality is, we closed $100 million in 2020 at 1000 Museum, literally, of new buyers coming in and closing. Not old buyers who bought, years ago pre-construction. No, new sales, new bodies coming in, writing checks and closing. We had over $100 million to date in this year. So that's pretty big in this market with the pandemic for a development. And I have to say, I think a lot of it had to do with pricing, April, because our pricing at the building, we'll use this as an example for this conversation. Our pricing in the building is really, we're averaging it at, you can buy deals at $1,000 a foot, $1,200 a foot. We're blending around at $1,100-$1,200 a foot area, I would say. And look, people are buying because I think they realize, they take $5 million, and the person who wants to shop $5 million, Paola, Maria, you sell general real estate. You shop $5 million in Miami. Well, you know what? $5 million in Miami on the beach isn't going to get you anything. $5 million on a Venetian island home on the water isn't going to get you into the driveway. So let's just keep it real. And when you come to my building, you get 4,600 square feet of finished perfection with a 50-foot great room, with a 50-foot terrace overlooking the most amazing view. And it's a 4-bedroom, 5.5 bathroom with a beach club and amenities that just sort of blow everything away. So the truth is, people are seeing it as value. And I think a lot of people, even though they're rushing down to spend money and they want to get the best, they're rushing down to spend money to get out of New York and to escape the taxes and all this, they're looking for value. Everybody's looking for value, no matter what. And they're counting every dollar. At least they are when I'm doing deals. And I can tell you this, they see the product because of the price point in downtown, particularly, and I will speak for my building, but the price point, it is not a scary price point for them. In fact, it's below other luxury property and other luxury options that are in Miami. So they're buying with me, and they're taking advantage of that because they're like, hey, you know what? If I spend $5 million, Harvey, with you, I think it'll be worth $7 million soon. I think it will go up. Versus a lot of people who I think are buying in other locations and other areas they're already paying top dollar. I think there are some advantages with particularly downtown Miami property, and I think mostly mine, because it has that potential. It has a luxury level that's offering an amenity package and services and a floor plan and just everything that you can't buy for $5 million or even $7 million or $10 million. My full floors like David Beckham bought. They're 10,000 square feet with 12-foot ceilings and 360-degree views on one floor. It doesn't exist. And they're priced from, 16 million up to 18 million. And, if you shop $16 million, there's a lot to look at in Miami for $16 million. But if you shop $16 million on the beach for a condo, you're looking at 5,000 square feet. I can get you 10,000 square feet. So they're value driven. I think the buyers are value driven. And I think there's a lot more to this conversation, to be had. But it's interesting. And time goes by, we'll see where the prices go. But I think people are really focused on price and getting the right deal. And I think that they can in my building.
Harvey, thank you.
Sure.
Very, very much. Maria, over to you again, right there in a downtown neighborhood. What's your perspective? And also talking about the East Coast influx of buyers versus the global audience now and moving into 2021. What are you seeing in terms of pricing and influx of where the buyers are going to be coming from?
Well, I agree with Harvey with the buyers. We're receiving more and more in these last 2020 and then these last months. Our buyers are mostly from the East Coast, from Chicago, also from California, actually, but in the U.S. Mainly in 2019, it was more Latin America, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina. And then what has been steady in 2019 and 2020 is Europe. There are certain, like our building and the design and the amenities that we're offering and the location is very much into what Europeans are looking for. So what we've seen in the amount of sales from 2019 and 2020 in Europe, it hasn't changed. It's been actually increasing, but it's always been quite steady. But definitely more from the Northeast, people from New York and people from Chicago. And regarding the prices, our prices, in our building, we're still 2 years ahead. We're still 2 years to go for the closing. So we haven't done any reduction, any price changes because of the pandemic. Thankfully, we haven't been able, we didn't need to. There were some months that were slow, but immediately we were able to catch up and people started buying again. And that is what we've seen is that More and more, the larger units are the one that we have most interest. People are looking for more like family. They want to move in. They want to use the property as a second home to live. So that's something that we've been seeing in 2020. And we're still 2 years. So by the time we finish the building, we'll see that the prices are going to be much higher than they are right now, for sure.
Thank you, Maria. Paula, over to you.
So yeah, touching up on what everybody said, I think it's really interesting. I actually love analyzing the different perspectives on the pricing and also from a buyer standpoint. So what we see a lot, and I am sure everybody can identify, is when we were used to dealing with our Latin American influx and South American influx of buyers. So there are buyers that tend to be naturally not satisfied with the initial, bidding, because they're used to getting these insane properties with so much land and so much space at really, really low prices in our South American countries. So then when they come here, they're very tough on negotiating, and they really want it. Like, it's a little bit more of an adjustment period while they, adapt their pesos or their reals or, their currency to ours, and then adapt like the different spaces that they're accustomed to seeing with our spaces. But now I think we can all, appreciate so much our American domestic market, because it's the total opposite situation. They're coming from the places that are not as beautiful, that don't have so much space at much higher prices. So they're actually, at least for me personally, it's been so pleasant when I hear, when I have any leads with an American family, I get like uber excited, because they're just going to be so happy about everything. They're going to be like, wow, this much space. Wow, this sun. Wow, these amenities. Wow. So it's just like value, whether you're in downtown, in the river, in the middle of the city, in the beach, wherever. There's just, like Harvey said, value. At Aston Martin, I just was there with some clients who are actually from Mexico, and they were just in love with everything. Value. You're here, you're in the city, you can walk here, you can walk there. There's great security, there's great people. People really appreciate that the barrier to entry is high in our markets. So it really, provides a huge quality control and great networks for everybody to feel comfortable in. And what I expect now is, first of all, I'll comment on that. Anytime there's like a major political change or economic change in the climate, there's a natural shock and there's a natural moment of pause, because people are afraid and they're paralyzed. They're just taking a moment to figure things out. Now I think we're going to start seeing some more movement with the Southern market, with the South American markets again, slowly, because now they have adjusted to all the things that have been happening. It happens simultaneously to a lot of our major countries down there with the presidencies. Now everyone's also adjusting to that and saying, you know what, this instability of this economy and these countries, now they're going to come back with a different perspective than when before. Before they were coming maybe to splurge. Now they're coming to actually move their families and really establish, these assets and dollars here. And I think that's going to start coming back very soon, because things are not good right now. I mean, they've been not good in South America, but they're really, it's not looking, the future is not looking brighter. And it is here in Miami. So, and like Maru said, we are such a quick flight away. I mean, even she speaks about overnight. Like, my clients are all like Venezuela, Colombia, Mexico. They're right here. We're like going to New York and going to Colombia, going to Mexico, going to Venezuela. It's the same thing. It's 3 hours. It's incredible. So it's like, you don't even get to take a nap. Like, you're there.
Continued prominence on a global scale, for sure, for our market in the Magic City. And thank you very much, Paula, for your insight. As we start moving into closing out, Harvey, I'm going to start with you. Miami ultra luxury real estate in one sentence.
Ooh, wow. You're always putting me on the spot. I always get these positions when I'm in these panels. Everyone, okay. One sentence. Let's see. Wow, this is a toughie.
Harvey, you got it.
I think one sentence.
One sentence.
I would say that Miami will always continue to be the top of the market and continue as to be the leader of the real estate development industry in South Florida.
Very good. Thank you, Harvey. Maria, Miami luxury real estate in one sentence.
Come, bring your clients. You don't want to miss out.
Beautiful. Paola, Miami ultra luxury real estate in one sentence.
In one sentence, the ultra, I was just going to say, it's here. It's happening. They're all coming. Everyone's coming. I mean, I'll take the opportunity to tell you that that what I've been seeing is, with this huge influx of the ultra high net worth, is I'm about to launch my new billionaire division, an ultra high net worth division, just to serve like the specific needs of like the ultra wealth, because the higher they are on that tier, the quicker they're moving here.
That was 40 sentences, Paola.
I know.
I said one sentence. She had like
Maria
40 sentences.
followed instructions perfectly.
Hold on.
I was just gonna say it's popping, but then you guys did all these other things, and I was like, what?
Well,
That's okay. You're super cute. It's good. You can get away with that. It's good.
I want to thank you on behalf of the BNI Global Forum, also Haut Living and Haut Residence. You are all tremendous partners, and each one of you contributes so much to Miami and the Magic City and our ultra luxury real estate market here. So thank each one of you for all that you do and really speaking on our market.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, April.
And thank you for your time.
Good luck, Harvey, on your showing now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.